What's wrong, Dad?
Oh, nothing. I'm just making every Goldwing rider in the world out there hate me.
Why do the Goldwing riders hate you?
Sometimes I don't even know. The old Goldwing riders hate me because I ride a new Goldwing and they don't think that's a real Goldwing and they get all pissy. The new Goldwing riders don't like me because I'm long-haired, I'm tattooed, I'm white trash, and they don't want me riding their precious Goldwings.
I'm gonna roll the intro before you lose more subs.
That's a good idea, son. Thanks. I'm going for a ride today, and I wanted to talk about the Goldwing. If you saw from the thumbnail and the title, you're going to hear me being blatantly honest about this bike. Because what happens is, I think every one of us buys a new bike, or we have a bike that we love. And then, to us, there's nothing wrong with that bike. That bike is perfect. Well, what happens is, other people will go off and buy that bike, right? And they're like, wow, man, he didn't warn me about any of the things that's wrong with this bike. So, contrary to popular belief, there are a few things about this bike that I do not like. Now, let me preface that by saying I love this bike. This is a great bike. It's an amazing bike. I'm very glad that I bought this bike, and I have zero buyer's remorse. I'm not upset that I bought it. However, there's a few things about the bike that I know that I don't like, and I know that people who own these bikes, they have a few issues with them. So, in the spirit of being honest, and full disclosure, I'm going to talk about some of those things today. So, number one, the thing I don't like about this bike is the exhaust. I know what you're going to say. There's Goldwing riders who are going to get angry and say, wow, you don't know what you're talking about. That exhaust is an amazing exhaust. The note of it, it sounds like an Italian sports car, and so on and so forth. And they're going to be huffy about it and act like I'm evil because I said something bad about the exhaust. Fine. If you come from riding V-twins to this exhaust is extremely quiet. I call this exhaust a glorified sewing machine, because that's what it sounds like, a freaking sewing machine. And it's not that I think it has a okay sound, but it's just like my Valkyrie. It sounds like a sewing machine, and I didn't like that. Guys who come from a V-twin, or guys who come from that rumble, it doesn't have that rumble. It's a smooth motor, which I like. I've gotten used to, and I like it. But it has no sound. So here's the thing: if you own this bike, you're doing one of two things. You're going to buy the TBR, the performance slip-ons, and I'll put the video link for the TBR down there so that you can hear them. Or you're going to buy the Remus system. The TBR system is right around $1,000. The Remus system runs $3,000. I'm not dropping $3,000 for a fucking exhaust. I don't care how great the Remus system is. If somebody wants to sponsor me and give me a Remus exhaust, I will do an extensive review on it and tell you just how great that Remus exhaust is, okay? But right now, there's no way in hell that I'm buying a Remus exhaust and spending $3,000 on that exhaust. So that's one of the things that bothers me, is the sound. It bothered me on the Valkyrie, and it bothers me on this bike. The second thing that bothers me more than anything else is this. No touchscreen on the display on your screen. Now, I know plenty of people who are like, well, we don't need that. You have this dial. This dial right here does everything. You touch it, you hit enter, and you have buttons, and that's great. I think somebody said the other day that they believe the reason they did that was to keep from you being distracted and using the touchscreen while you're riding. And that's fine. But the dial and the buttons are no safer, because somebody was like, well, it's a safety feature. I don't know how that could be a safety feature, but okay, that's not a safety feature. Come on, Honda. A touchscreen display is not that hard to do. It really isn't. Other bikes have it. I just think a touchscreen would have been the way to go. It's a preference thing. I just think being able to reach up and touch and do versus when you're trying to input something into the navigation. You've got to go to like you got to do the dial to the 1, hit the button, do the dial to the 5, hit the button, do the dial to the 9, and then do the dial like to the A and hit enter. I don't like that. The touchscreens, it would be easier, would be faster, would be more convenient for the rider. I think it'd be better. I don't think it's any safer to have a dial versus a touchscreen. The safety issue, when somebody said that, I was like, okay, I think that's ridiculous, but that's just me. The third thing is the saddlebags. Those side open saddlebags, you've seen me do them in a video before where I spoke about the bags. They hold a decent amount. The problem is when you're packing stuff in there for a trip, like, you got all this shit sitting there when you open the bag, it wants to spill out. I know there's straps, I know there's ways to put the shit in there, I understand that. I do not like those bags. I like the button on the side, I'll say that much. The button and the release mechanism, I think all that's awesome. Once I learned not to be a dumbass, that when you close the bags, you just close them and push them and hold it for a second, and it holds, they're awesome in that regards. But storage, if you're going on a long trip and you're packing a lot of stuff, those bags are a pain in the ass. They really, really are. I'm not a fan of the bags. I'm just going to be completely honest. Not a huge fan of the bags. I think that they could have done a better job. I think a top open bag would have been that much better than the side open bag. The top open bag just gives you more space, and you don't have to worry about your stuff falling out when you park in the mud. You have to park your bike in the dirt, and your hat and your shirt and shit falls out when you open it up if you have stuff in there. Or I'm always afraid I'm going to break the lid, so I don't like the side open latch. That's just me. I'd prefer the top mount saddlebags. The fourth thing, people bitch about the seat, but man, stock seats on any bike are not that great. I think this one's okay. It's not the best seat I've ever had, but I'm not going to count the seat as a problem. Now, I will say I don't like stock grips on any bike. I never have. It's just not a... Stock grips are like anything else stock. Most stock things are not that great. I would say that the stock grips are really long and thin. Yeah, I said long and thin. I went ahead and did the Gold Strike grips on there and the grip covers so that you can still have your heated grips. The Gold Strike grips are awesome. They're beefy. They remind me of like a Kiriakin ISO grip or an Avon Air grip, so they're pretty good grips. So I didn't like the grips. I hated those. The buttons, the button cluster, the gauge where your radio is and your source and your turn signals and all, I love that part. I'm not gonna complain about the handlebars because you can put routers on those and almost everybody does things to them. They set low, but I'm okay with that. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and say I don't love this bike because the power, the handling, the reliability, and just the options it has. I don't think you're gonna find a better bike. Bring back to the Goldwing. Goldwing's a great bike. I will say that if they would fix the touchscreen issue, the saddlebag issue, if they take care of the grips, I think that this bike would be, I mean, just in my mind, damn near perfect. I really don't have any issues with the bike. I really love the bike, but those are the things when people act like everybody, when they buy a bike, their bike is the most perfect bike ever. This is not the most perfect bike ever. I think it has a lot of great power for a stock bike. For a bike that nothing's been done to it, this son of a bitch will get up and go. So I'm impressed by that. But as far as, I mean, there's not a lot of performance mods. That's something else that kind of bugs me. You can't really do a lot of performance mods, and there's plenty of people who are going to say, well, why would you need to do a performance mod to a bike that already runs the way it does? Well, it's not that I need to, but what if I want to? That's my thing. Like, I understand why people go to Harley, because there's one thing that Harley has going for them, and that's that you have it's not that they have the best mods on them stock, because they don't. But what they do have is they have the option to put those mods on there that Honda doesn't have. Honda needs to have like a stage 1 or a stage 2, or an upgrade. I mean, yeah, there at one point in time you could do you could retune these bikes. I think Gould Motors was doing it, and then all of a sudden the EPA and everybody came down on them, so they don't do them anymore. I think you could tune this bike and make it that much faster and that much better. That's just my opinion. But that's just me. It's just where I stand. But great bike. I love the bike, but those are my issues. I don't want people going, well, man, you didn't say anything about the screen not being touchscreen. You didn't say anything about the saddlebags. I try to be totally honest and tell you, look, here's are the deficiencies I find in the bike. Again, the touchscreen, the saddlebags. I think the grips suck, but most grips do. And I think you need to have an option for some performance parts. And I'm going to tell you right now, this is the best bike I've ever owned. A little over 2,000 miles on it. And I can say I've never had a bike handle this good, have this much power stock, or be able to do the things this bike does. Super impressed with it. Hey, what's up, y'all? Do me a favor. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell icon so you get notifications when the shit show is rolling again. Yeah, me making videos talking bad about my brand new Goldwing. I'm not really talking bad, just giving you my honest opinion of some of the things that I don't like about it. I think you got to be honest with yourself about your bike. You got to be honest about its strong points and its weak points, and give people an overall better idea about it. I always come out and say what a great bike it is because it's a great bike, but there are some things I don't like, some things I would change. So it's just me being honest. The Goldwing riders don't like me anyway. The guys who ride the old Goldwings are pissed at me. The guys who ride the new Goldwings don't like me. I don't give two shits. I make content for you guys to enjoy, and I hope you enjoy it. So I want you guys to have a great day. Let's try not to be assholes to each other, and I'll see y'all next time.